Hello YouTube, it's Sign here with Puppies and Man once again, and today we are doing another manga review. Today we are doing another Dr.Stone review. Actually, we're gonna do the Stone Wars Saga, or Stone Wars Saga, which is these chapters right here. I can't think of them off the top of my head, so I'll just show them to you right there. You can see the previous two reviews that we've done up there, I think. Might be up there, I can't remember. It's across my chest somewhere, but I can't remember which side it is. Which would be the prequel saga or the prologue saga, and the Ishigami Village saga, or the what's it called? There's a different name for it, I think, but it's like the one where, you know, stuff happens at Ishigami Village. Now, I also did a review for Dr. Stone Reboot, which is the Byakuya spin-off just yesterday, so you can watch that right there as well. And we have kind of talked about this before, so I'll kind of speed through it. But the author is Richiro Inagaki, the illustrator is Boichi, who does amazing work. This is published by Viz. It's on the Shonen Jump app, so it's a shonen series. And the genres here are adventure, post-apocalyptic, and science fiction. Although it's not really science fiction in the kind of military sci-fi way, more just that science is important and it's a fiction story. So there you go. It does have an adaptation. I think this was just recently adapted into the anime. I'm not exactly sure how far the anime got, though. I don't know if they finished the Stone Wars sagas, or the Stone Wars saga, but what happens after this is going to be kind of interesting. So yeah. Now, the premise of this specific saga is, now that the Kingdom of Science has taken off and kind of really gotten into stuff, it's time for Senku to announce his presence and let Tsukasa know that he's alive. And this basically happened at the end of the previous saga, because Hyoga kind of shows up, and he's about to, you know, take on the Kingdom of Science, but, you know, Senku shoots at him, I think, and kind of freaks him out, and then he's like, okay, we gotta go, because we're not gonna win this if they have guns, right? And he goes away. Tsukasa now knows, and Senku has to prepare his empire, his kingdom, to be able to fight Tsukasa's Empire of Might, which is going to be basically brains over brawn. It's going to be a very interesting kind of dynamic that happens here. So yeah, that's basically the premise. It's quite good. I really did enjoy it. I think it's very interesting. Some people definitely felt off of the series at this point. I think this is just the series getting up to it. It's just, the problem is that it's a little bit repetitive, because the whole aspect of the series is, how do we innovate what we have in order to get better, right? And so some people don't really like that, because it's not really battle oriented, so we're not really seeing training and stuff like that. We're really just seeing like Senku and other people around him being like, oh, this is intelligent, let's do something, you know, scientific, and kind of upgrade our tools, right? I personally find that really enjoyable, so I don't find any issues with it. But I know that some people have kind of disliked Dr. Stone at this point. So yeah, the plot line here is great. I think it's very good. It's basically time to level up the science in the Kingdom of Science, in order to be able to fight Tsukasa and his Empire of Might, right? And the mission is to create a phone. That's the big overarching aspect of this arc. And in order to create phones, in order to develop the communication technology necessary to win wars effectively against people that are stronger than you, because communication is the most important aspect of war within the series. I don't necessarily know if that's true IRL, but it probably is. You know, who has the best intel is usually the one that's going to win much better, right? And I think that's part of Sun Tzu's rules in The Art of War. I'm not exactly sure, but it makes sense. And in order to create a phone, they have to go through this whole process, you know, as Senku does. And along the way, they create a lot of things that, you know, kind of develop the science level of the world, you know, and every time he's kind of basically skipping steps in order to get to the place he needs, because he has the ability to do so, right? It's not like a regular scientific development that started from scratch. It was all experimental. Senku already knows a lot of these things, right? So he basically just has to find the right materials in order to do that. And he has the whole village in order to help him. So he has all the manpower and all the brain power necessary, so things just move at a rapid pace, and it's so fun. It's really amazing and super enjoyable. I just love how cool this is. And of course, there's quite a bit of adventure and tension between characters, and like, oh my god, we could die right now, what the heck's going on, to keep you, invested. And I really love it. Dr. Stone is just quickly becoming one of my favorite series. I don't think it really has like as hype moments as something like Naruto or My Hero Academia or Black Clover. Sorry, I was about to say Black Torch. I haven't read that one yet. But it is just kind of like really enjoyable and really good. And if you like science, you'll like Dr. Stone. That's basically how it goes. Now, in terms of characters here, we get a lot of development for quite a few different ones. Kaseki and Magna become a lot more important. Kaseki is the old guy that is in charge of doing all of the artisanal stuff. Like, he creates all of the glass components and all of the basic, wax molds and stuff like that. And Magna is like the strong guy, right? And he becomes this kind of workhorse character. Not as good as Taiju, but to a similar extent. But of course, he's an antagonistic character towards Senku, so he provides a lot of tension when he's kind of around, right? We also get a lot of new Empire of Might characters, but mostly the only one that's important is Yoga, or Hyoga. I can't remember his name. I say it like that because when I watched Saint Seiya, there was a character named that as well. And in Spanish, they would say Yoga. So that's how I want to say his name, but that's not necessarily correct, I think. He stays the most important one. There's a female character from the Empire of Might that is important as well. I think her name is Homura, like the sword girl from Eden Zero. I'm not exactly sure if that's actually her name. I'm pretty sure it is, but if it's not, I'll put it up right there. But she becomes this kind of like sentry character. She's just watching the Kingdom of Science and trying to see what they're doing. And there's a really interesting kind of dynamic between her and Kohaku when they meet. It's very cool, very interesting. I really enjoy that because she's an acrobat. She kind of has this way of moving that is completely different from everyone. And so Kohaku gets really impressed by her, and it's very interesting. There's quite a few more Empire of Might characters. But like I said, Yoga is the most important one. Chrome also kind of levels up. He's quite fun. He's very enjoyable. He was a little bit annoying at first, but now that he kind of has found his place on the crew, I guess, he's a lot more enjoyable. And I really love how ridiculously hyped he is about rocks and stuff. It's very funny. I don't know. It's very enjoyable. And we get Taiju and Yuzu Riha, back in the fold. So it's really good, really enjoyable. I'm really happy with how this developed. I really am excited to see that Taiju and Yuzu Riha are back in the fold and kind of developing the story further. And I'm just really excited to see where this goes. The characters are really well developed. I really do enjoy it. Now, in terms of world building, there's very minimal things going on. Basically, the way this situation happens, the way the Stone Wars happen, isn't really a big fight, but rather this kind of system of political exchanges that end with Senku being in charge, which is very interesting. It's basically the two nations are fighting each other, right? In this kind of weird way. Like, Tsukasa is trying to engage physically, while Senku is trying to engage mentally, right? And so all of his strategies, while definitely based around brawn and the ability to fight back, are also done with the effort of demoralizing the other guys and developing the Kingdom of Science's, like, threat level in order to basically win without bloodshed. And I think that's really interesting, very cool, very well done. Mostly it ends up being a political kind of situation that occurs, and that is kind of setting building, world building. So there you go. It's very well done. It also kind of sets up the next arc. Now that, Senku knows how to get rid of petrification and knows that it's actually a very interesting kind of way of healing people, he might end up wanting to recreate it in order to heal better, right? So it's a very interesting concept. I think it's a very good setup for the next arc. So there we go. Now, in terms of art, of course, Boichi is amazing as always. And again, this isn't really his best work. Boichi tries really hard at doing this, right? But he really can't explore the depth of the human figure like he can in other works, because this is kind of like a little bit more easygoing. And I think he also has to work on this a lot faster than he has to work on things like Origin, which allow him like two weeks to a month, I think. I can't remember the schedule of Origin, but basically he doesn't have as much time, so his art is a little bit less refined and a little bit more cartoony than it would be in his other series. But it is still amazing, very well done. The art really carries Dr. Stone for me a lot. I mean, the story is good, but the enjoyment I get out of reading it is like 60% because of the art. And yeah, of course, fan service wise, there's some, and it's standard Boichi stuff. I mean, he just likes showing off that he can draw characters in fantastic ways. You know, there's a lot of shirtless dudes. There's quite a few, you know, interesting female poses, and kind of looks at female characters' legs or bust or stuff like that. But really, it's just because Boichi likes flexing the fact that he's like amazing at drawing characters. And we also get to see a lot of interesting variation in his female characters at this point, because there's quite a few more that it's kind of interesting to see that he finally gets to show off different female, not necessarily body shapes. I think most of his female body shapes are pretty similar, but at least different female facial structures, which is really interesting and actually quite good, because Boichi does enjoy a very specific type of female character archetype that he draws and draws and draws and draws. So it's kind of nice that there's a little bit of variation there this time. Now, rating wise, this is a 5 out of 5. Again, it continues to be wonderful. The art is amazing. The story for me is just getting better and better and more enjoyable, and I'm really excited to see where the next arc goes. I definitely recommend this title, or this specific saga in the series. And yeah, again, similar titles, other things by Boichi, more or less. There really isn't any other kind of like Shonen Jump title that's really similar to this. So there you go. But that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. See you guys later.